Demi Lovato, holy fuck. No pun intended, by the way. I know that's the name of the album, but like, Jesus Christ, we look at these artists that are transitioning from a different genre into pop punk, or maybe they did pop punk back then, changed their sound, and are going back to pop punk. And it just seems like all these artists have turned pop punk into this generic, kind of more just pop-leaning genre, and they don't seem to get what the genre back then was, because pop punk isn't just fast-paced songs singing about girls and how lonely you are all the time. No, that's not how it is. It also doesn't need to have the same vocal tone as Tom fucking DeLonge, MGK, I'm looking at you. It just has to have passion and something just put into it that feels serious. And after all the shit that Demi Lovato's gone through, I think they were able to understand the genre of pop punk better, as they used to do this type of sound before back in the day, but then they kind of transitioned into the whole pop thing and it just became unbearable and bad. They released an album last year and it was, well, I didn't like it because it just wasn't good. And coming into this record, don't get me wrong, I had my doubts that Demi Lovato was going to be able to do something with this record. I thought it was just going to be the same old pop punk shit we've been getting for the past 2 or 3 years that everybody thinks is saving pop punk, when, like I said, it was just making it more generic and burying it even more into the ground. But Demi Lovato, she understood the assignment down to a T. I mean, I'm sitting there listening to this 16-track album and just going, how in the hell did Demi Lovato beat Avril Lavigne with the most enjoyable pop-punk record this year? Like, everybody thought that Avril Lavigne's record was going to be this big comeback to the original sound that she used to do, this, that, and the other, and it just came off as the same as, again, like what Willow Smith was trying to do, or what MGK was trying to do. It just didn't feel like it had that passion. It was like too edgy to be Avril Lavigne. Like, I'm not saying Avril Lavigne wasn't edgy, but that definitely wasn't Avril Lavigne. That was Avril Lavigne copying everybody else instead of doing her own original thing. But Demi Lovato here, sure, there's, you know, like, comparisons to maybe that of Blink-182 and even poppy influences showing up on this record sometimes. All 16 of these tracks really have something going for them. The only 2 I found that I didn't really enjoy were 29 and Come Together. They were fine for what they were, but on this record I don't think they fit very well. And then the 3 okay tracks, Eat Me, Bones, and Forever For Me, were, again, present but not great, and Eat Me was the one where I said that it probably has the most influence from poppy other than pop punk, as Demi Lovato has stated that if they were to rewind their career back and start with a genre, start with the type of music that they would do, they would pretty much do what poppy has been doing the past couple of years, since going from her pop thing to her kind of alternative rock, alt-pop type thing. It was an interesting song to hear on a pop-punk record, but nonetheless not bad. And then we have the rest here. We have Freak, which features Youngblood, but you wouldn't know it because he's barely present on the track. But again, fantastic kickoff. Skin in My Teeth, this was the one I heard before the record, and I just remember liking it because it was fun. It was what I want pop punk to be for the most part. It did its job. Substance was nice, of course the title track, Happy Ending. Heaven, City of Angels was probably one of my absolute favorites from this thing. The atmosphere of it is just so good. It has more of that emo feel than it does a pop-punk feel. That's another thing Demi Lovato does very well with this record, is it's not just pop-punk, but it definitely feels very emo. Like, that atmosphere there is just, it's present. You can feel it, and it really just does a lot for you. Wasted, Dead Friends, Help Me, and Feed were also fantastic tracks. And Help Me probably has my favorite feature on this record, as Dead Sarah appears on it. And her and Demi's vocals together just do an excellent job carrying the track. It's very, very nice. And Eat Me features Royal and the Serpent, but again, between them and Youngblood, you don't really hear them much, so those features just kind of go to waste a little bit. But hey, if that's the worst thing about this record, then this just means that the record was really good, and that even if you didn't know there was features on those 2 tracks in particular, you would still enjoy those songs because they just have very, very good staying power. And I know for Demi, this probably isn't going to be as mainstream as her other albums have been for her, but I don't really think that they care at this point. It's more of a thing of, let's go back to the basics, let's go back to the roots, and let's show off some of the pop-punk influences that I had back in the day. And like I said, I think she does an excellent job embodying what pop-punk/emo music was and should be, not the generic whatever we've been getting with trap beats and stuff that people think is pop-punk or was pop-punk back in the day. Like, that's just, like, it gets overplayed and overused to the point where it just doesn't seem fun. It doesn't seem entertaining. But this, I feel like if a lot more artists take this page out of Demi Lovato's playbook, then they can definitely have something going for them too. I would say MGK take notes, but he's going back to rap with his next release, so it's kind of too little too late for that. But yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Demi Lovato has one of the best records of the year so far, and I'm not trolling. It is just, I never sat through a Demi Lovato record like this and from start to finish enjoyed it all the way through. It was fantastic, and I really, really hope that she sticks with this, because my goodness, she's the only one that seems can do it right nowadays when we talk going back to this whole pop-punk emo thing. So 8 out of 10 for Holy Fuck, would definitely recommend, and this is one that should go down as one of the best records of the year. Not just records, but we'll say rock records, because this thing is pure rock, and nobody should have anything to say about it otherwise. Like, gatekeeping pop-punk at this point with this record would just make you look dumb, because it's a pop-punk record, it's a great pop-punk record, and it's just, it's what the genre needed for it to really get, you know, kick back into things, showing people how serious it can actually be, other than the cringy shit we've been hearing for the past couple of years. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on this record. You can tell me in the comments below, what did you think? And until then, stay safe out there, wear your mask, get vaccinated, and I will catch you all in the next one.